Hello everyone. Today I will be recommending you a bunch of PlayStation Vita games and I'll also be telling you which ones to stay away from. Now, the PlayStation Vita doesn't have that much support. As of right now, I think there's only 11 different games that are coming to the US, but you could also buy a bunch of Japanese imported games, which aren't set for US release, but still, I got a pretty good library over here. Now, the first one I'm going to start off with here is Silent Hill Book of Memories. You should only really buy this one if you're into Diablo type style video games, or if you're a really big fan of Silent Hill. Now, the one thing about this game that really sucks is there are these floor traps, and some of them are really good, some of them they could really mess you up. Like this one brings you down to 1 HP, and you can honestly die in one hit right after that. I think before an update used to be a one-hit kill or poisonous one that killed you over time. But yeah, I'm kind of a Silent Hill fan, so I still sort of enjoyed it. Right here, next up is EDF 2. Now, only buy this game if you like just going around shooting giant insects and ants and causing massive amounts of destruction. Also, if you like monster movie type uh, movies and sort of cheesy action movies like this one right here. Really good game, actually. Right here is The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this game doesn't have the best graphics at all. Like, it looks like a PlayStation 2 game on the Vita, except for like Spider-Man's model. But it's actually like on the level of an average, well, not like above average Spider-Man game if you've been playing Spider-Man games. It's also a really good movie game as well. Right here, we have the two Senran Kagura games, Estival Versus and Shinobi Versus. Now these are two Dynasty Warrior style games where you go around hack and slashing your way through tons of ninja girls and stuff, and it actually has a pretty decent story with all, I'm gonna say 16 or more characters, and they're all pretty well developed. I didn't expect these girls to have like that much of a defining personality each. Like, if you actually looked at them, like, uh, actually try to remember they're all different characteristics, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be difficult at all to like define one of them from the other. Like if someone gave you a description of one, like, oh, this one's the writer, this one is still like a childish teenager's type person, this one is the honor-bound shinobi. Next up is the Danganronpa games. Now the next one is coming out, V3. I think it's coming out this month in August. And these are really cool mystery style solving games. They aren't really that difficult. I mean, the worst thing about them is Hangman's Gambit, where you're trying to guess a word and you have all these different letters coming down, and you could think of the right word, but it's not the right word that they want. It could be a synonym of the word, but still the wrong word. And the weird thing is that they made a Resident Evil 4 style shooter right here called Ultra Despair Girls. Now that one, you're basically going around shooting different monokumas, and the easiest way to defeat them is to shoot them directly in the red eye, not like directly above it, not a little below it, but directly in the red eye. Otherwise, you waste ammo, and sometimes you might actually empty all of it. There's also different kinds of ammo which give different status effects to them, and some of them are puzzle solving ammo types, but besides that, I recommend them. But this other one made by the same developers here, I don't know why it's sticking like that, is Virtue's Last Reward, or Zero Escape Volume 2. Now I say I don't really recommend this one because it's only like a few puzzles and then you get your ending. The real value to this game is a bunch of different endings. How many to say? 24 different endings. Now the thing with the endings is that they all they're all interwoven into one another. So like you could find the answer to a puzzle in one of your other endings, but if you didn't know something from that one, you'd be screwed in this one and you'll get like a bad ending or something like that. So I actually had to look up one of the solutions to the puzzle because I couldn't figure it out. Over here are the Hyperdimension Neptunia games. Now, you should only really buy these games if you like uh, parody and satire in video games, or if you like the Final Fantasy X style of combat. It's a bit improved in this one, in these games, but it's not that much better. It's also pretty grindy, the games. And the funny thing about the mainstream ones, like Rebirth, the regular ones, is that you could buy $1 XP up, which makes you gain double the XP and you level up really fast, so the game doesn't get hard at all. There's also a sort of what's it called, a rhythm game, where you're the manager of one of the girls in the game, like, and you get like sort of in a relationship with them depending on what you do, and sort of like a fan servicey type of game. There's also the Dynasty Warriors types games, kind of like the Senran Kagura games. It's made by the same developer. These are better. And Hyper Devotion Noir, which is more of it's a different style type of RPG. I forgot how, like what kind of it is exactly. Isometric grid type. You know, I don't really like it that much. I like how it centers on Noir. She's a pretty good character. But besides that, it's not really for me. Up next, right here, is Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, a Metroidvania style game, 2D side scroller. Now this, like the other Batman Origins game, like if you remember that game, they aren't as good as the regular Batman Arkham games made by Rocksteady, I think. And you should only really buy it if you really like Batman or if you really like Metroidvania style games. That's the only reason why you should buy it. Up right here. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now this game is basically a Burnout game. Like if you know Burnout Paradise, it's almost exactly like this one where you crash cars and stuff into other cars and you crash into police cars to try and make them go away. And it's an open world style game, racing game where you go from point A to point B. You race a lot. Sometimes there's objectives like get away from the cops or complete this certain laps in a certain amount of time. That kind of stuff. If you like Burnout, you'll definitely like this game. Right here. Oh, not that one. Shantae, Half Genie Hero. This game is a really good side-scroller adventure game. And the thing about this one is that I actually haven't completed, even though I really like the Way Forward type games. I've gotten lazy with them, but you should definitely play them yourself. It came with this really cool, I think I still have the box set somewhere, but I'll look for it later. It came with the soundtrack and everything, which is pretty cool. Definitely worth their money. And speaking about the other Dynasty Warriors style games, I have Dynasty Warriors Next. Now I think they do have Dynasty Warriors 8 on the Vita as well, but Next is specifically engineered for the Vita, and it's definitely good if you like the Dynasty Warriors games. This one's a bit more weird. Deception 4, Blood Ties. It's a more like a puzzle style game where you have these different kinds of good guys coming into your lair and you're supposed to set traps for them. And you don't set traps like beforehand, you set traps like as they follow your character, and you're supposed to lead them into different rooms and set your traps there and try to put them in the right places so you inflict the most damage on the good guys, more like, since you play as bad guy or bad girl, who's I think the spawn of Satan, I think. Right here is the Assassin's Creed games for Vita. Now, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is more like your regular style Assassin's Creed game, except you can change into different outfits and They have different advantages and different disadvantages in certain situations. Now these ones are different. The Assassin's Creed Chronicle ones. Now they did release each one of these episodically, but they're all pretty much the same, where you just move from left to right on a side-scrolling type. You mostly, I think, you travel around this one location, or we just go straight from left to right. I honestly forget most of it. It's kind of like a mediocre game. You should only buy it if you really like the Assassin's Creed games. Right up here is the Lego games I have. Lego Jurassic Park and Lego Star Wars. Now these are actually really decent Lego games, especially if you like the franchises they're based on. They do cater to each audience, so if you really like Star Wars or if you really like Jurassic Park, you'll definitely like these games. Which is weird because they surprised me when they came out. I expect them to be just like your average Lego game, but they really did well in these ones. Even if like I think some of the content is cut off from both of these games from the console version, so you can get the console version instead if you want. Oh no, here. This trilogy of games right here. This unholy trilogy of games. These Sword Art Online games. Now, what am I gonna say? If you don't like Sword Art Online at all, you won't like these games. They're pretty average gameplay-wise, story-wise. You know how horrible the light novel and anime is. It's the same quality level storytelling in them, but they're kind of decent MMO style hack and slash games. Wouldn't really recommend them that much unless you're curious. And over here is Corpse Party Blood Drive. Sort of like a puzzle style horror game. You go around different places trying not to get a bad ending. It's kind of interesting, the story, but it really gets weird during the end. I don't really recommend it that much unless you really like horror games and cultish style stories. Up right here, Final Fantasy X and X-2 for the Vita. Now this one only has 10 in it as a physical thing, but they didn't put X-2 as a little physical chip. Instead, they just put it as a download. Now for that game, it depends on how much you like Final Fantasy. You know, like the series is very iffy on quality, especially when Final Fantasy X or when Final Fantasy VIII came out. But that's just besides the point. Now let me introduce you a better game, Persona 4 Golden. This game, I tried when I first got it. I avoid playing it for some reason. Like it didn't look that interesting to me. But once I started playing it, I played through it twice, like two 40-hour runs. I could not get enough of it, and because of Persona 4 Golden, I got Persona 1, Persona 2, and Persona 2 again. And then Persona 3. I pretty much got all of them, like even Dancing All Night, a rhythm game. Yeah, it's pretty much how you expect it to be, with all the cool Persona music in it. And it's on like storyline where it's a sequel to Persona 4 Golden. I think it's a little sequel to the two Persona 4, Persona 3, 4 fighting games, which is actually really good. Now that's it for all my PS Vita games. I hope you found it somewhat informative, and thanks for watching.